I'm Ryan Rusink, and today we're at the Kinzenbaw collection. Come on along, let's go check some stuff out. So I know you've got a whole row of Farmall H's, but as I understand it, this one's a little more special than most. Why?
Well, it's the first H that I have ever seen, the first tractor I ever drove. I was 2 years old when Dad bought it. Don't remember that, but by the time I was 4, I was on it, steered it across the barnyard, and did a lot of things with it that average kid wouldn't get to do, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. And Dad made some special modifications so you could do that, correct?
Well, he had a lot of things he'd done. He worked a hand clutch at one point so that I could steer it down the row while they picked up down corn, or corn had been dropped on the ground. And I can remember about 4 years old, Dad had set me down the row and then I'd steer it. But he had a rope to the back of the wagon, so if I fell off, I suppose he could jerk the clutch. But that was my first memory, and I could take you right out to the farm and show you right where we picked up that corn all those years ago. And then as time went on, I couldn't reach the pedals. So one of the first things that Dad did was to make this block that it's bolted to the side of the clutch pedal. It's on a hinge, and it flips over out of the way, so when he drove it, it wasn't in the way. But when I drove it, flipped around and latched with a piece of car tire on here for a tread, and half of the hinge was still on the pedal. And when I found the tractor in 1993, I found the tractor at the county fair. A guy by the name of Tanner had entered a series of tractor pictures, and this was one of the photos, and that throttle that my dad had made out of a brake lever was sticking up, and that's how I identified it, because I'd been looking for it for years, never knew where it went.
Dad traded the tractor in, right?
It was traded in on an M, and I was glad to see it go, but then years later I wished I'd have still had it.
Sure. So.
But you can see some of the things that he changed. It's got the starter button moved up where he thought it was handier. He put the switch up above where it was handier. He had his initials carved in that knob on the shifter lever. That old original hard rubber knob still has his initials EK carved into that. Another one that stuck in my mind, there's a couple of holes in the hood here where he had a ring loop riveted on here. Then he had a holster back here, and he carried a .22 rifle, stuck it in that holster with the barrel in that ring, and he'd shoot ground squirrels when he was out plowing or disking or whatever he was doing. So this old tractor was around all those years. And when I was 9 years old, I've got an artist did a rendering of it, of me planting corn. I planted corn when I was 9 years old with a 2-row planter.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Down behind the barn, Dad said, I'm gonna go milk the cows. You can finish this. It was a 12-acre field. You can finish, it was about half planted. He said, you can finish this, I'll go milk cows. So he told me what gear to put it in and which notch in that old heavy throttle to put it in. And when I got up to supper that night after I'd finished the field and he was done milking, he wanted to know why I was driving faster than he told me. And I said, how did you know? He said, well, I could hear that planter clicking. And when he drove it all day long, it went click, click, click. But when I was driving it, it went click, 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 click. And you know, he drove it all day long for several days in a row. He knew exactly how that planter should sound. So typical kid, had to go a little faster, try to get a little more done.
I mean, let's give you credit where it's due. That's where you were figuring out how to make a high-speed planter.
I suppose.
So anyway, Dad traded this off in 1956.
Okay.
Yeah. And he replaced it with an M. So this one goes somewhere, and we don't know where. Now.
Well, yeah.
Where did you find it?
Well, I was at the county fair with my son. We had worked on a little Cub Cadet and restored it, and he took that and entered it in the county fair. And while we were there that night, it had rained, and we were all inside the 4-H building. And here was a series of photos that one little 4-H'er from up at Norway, Iowa, and his name was Tanner Tao. and he had taken a photo, and I could see that throttle, and that's when I discovered the tractor. And I went to the mother who was there that night. The mother and daughter were showing horses, and I asked if that tractor was still around, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's down behind the barn." And I said, "Would I by chance be for sale? I collect those." I didn't want to tell her why. And she said, "Well," she said, "it's down there behind the barn. You have to ask Bruce." That was her husband. So I asked him a couple of days later. I called him. "Well, yeah, he'd sell it." "Well, what do you want for it?" "Oh, he'd like $400 or $500. And I didn't want to be too hasty, but I said, "Well, I'll give you $400. That'd be fine. Come and get it." So I went to get it, and when we got it loaded on the trailer, after I wrote the check wrote the check out, he said, "Well, give it to my wife, Pam." So I gave Pam the $400. Then I went to the pickup and got this block out from under the seat, and I put that pin back through it. First time that hinge had been on there, and I don't know how many years. Showed him how it worked, and he shook his finger at me. He said, "So that's why you wanted to buy this tractor." And at that point, he recognized the reason I wanted to buy it.
Yep.
And so then I thought, well, he wanted $400 or $500, so the least I could do was give him the other $100. But I thought, well, shoot, this 10-year-old or 11-year-old Tanner. So I wrote the check out to Tanner for the $100. Boy, his eyes got real big. This was quite a deal to have $100 cash at that point. A year later, I ran into Pam at the county fair. She said, "John, guess what Tanner asked me about a month ago?" He said, "Mom, what could I take pictures of this year that Kinze'd want to buy?" That's the beginning of what kind of a person? That's the beginning of an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. An entrepreneur is someone that takes money earned, invests some of it to, in this case, film probably, invest some of it to earn more money.
And in return, you got something that you've been looking for close to 40 years.
We put these very tires on it, new, in the spring of 1956, and that was the year we traded it for the Super M. So it was long gone until we found it at the county fair, or the picture at the county fair.
Well, I can understand exactly why it's one of your favorites, and I know a lot of the people who are watching this video, they're in the same boat. They've either got family tractors or they're looking for them, but either way, they hold very, very high regard in a place of honor in the family.
Yeah, my dad's last new tractor was a 460 utility, International 460 utility. It went up to southeast Minnesota, but we've never been able to track it down. So I have no idea whatever happened to it, but I would like to find it. It's one of those that got away and you can't find it.
If you're watching and you're from southeast Minnesota and you ever had a 460 utility, best check that serial number.
Yeah, I don't know the serial number. I had to advertise it that way too.
So that was just one piece of nearly 650 tractors in Jon's collection. Stay tuned, we got more coming.